Good morning, everyone in the US, and good evening to all of my friends in Vietnam. Welcome to another presentation, Lit in English. Thank you for joining us on this journey. The mission of our Zoom call is to create an environment where we can use English to share the amazing knowledge that we have learned, and we want to spread this knowledge to every corner of the world. And thank you so much for joining us on this meaningful journey. And this is also an exercise for us to do almost every day, so that we can remind ourselves to practice this amazing principle, this amazing knowledge, and we will indeed help improve and change many lives. And thank you. I see Dong Lee have sent a message here. Hello from Vietnam. Yesterday you mentioned about the 10% that we use our brain. I just heard that is wrong. And the conscious showing. Okay. Great question. Let's stop on there. So there is the it's almost like a myth, but not really a myth, when people say that we only use 10% of our brain. What happened in the past when the researcher make the announcements, I think it was in somewhere in the 1800s, they make an announcement that the human brain is so complex that we we are only able to study about 10% of it. And the way that people did study back then was they look at patients who have like brain damage, for example, like they have some kind of like brain injury, because they cannot just just open up a person and study how the brain works, because that would be unethical. And that is the main reason that like brain studies is very, very slow, because they have to look for a patient who have some kind of brain injury, and then that patient have to agree to go on a research study, and bit by bit they kind of like put in everything together. And the researcher back then published a research study saying that the human brain is so complex that we only know about 10% of what our brain does. But the public, of course, they wanted something like the newspaper, they want a better headline. So they say that, you know what, the brain is so amazing that we actually only use 10% of it. And that stuck. Okay. So even though it's kind of different, but I think there is some truth to it, right, Don? I think there's some truth to we only use 10% of our brain. And that is such a great question, by the way. Most people don't even think of what you mentioned just now. And me personally, I do believe that we as human only use about 10% of our brain, even though that is kind of like a myth, but I do believe it. In fact, you know what? I do believe that we use even less than that. And the reason that I'm saying that was because if we going back to our drawing yesterday about the three brain, the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and the human brain, we we can see that the reptilian brain is very good at survival, and in many corners of the world, people are still trying to survive, right? If you are looking at let's say any country that is at war, they they focus more on survival. Or a lot of people, they are still trying to make sure that they make enough money to buy food for their family, to pay bill for shelter. So it is like the very basic needs. And what we are trying to present yesterday on the activation of the human brain is that we trying to present to everyone that, you know what, there are more to it. There are more to the brain, and it is important for us to activate the human brain, because we don't have to get into fear all the time, right? We don't have to get into negative emotion all the time. We want to be able to live. We want to be able to love. We want to be able to lit up the the candle, the light inside of our inner self, so that when information come to us, we can access, we can activate the human brain, so that we can start having vision. And from having vision, we will be able to accomplish and achieve amazing thing like what Mr. Roger Bannister did. And in the previous season, I also mentioned the story of Bill Gates, right? He had a vision. He know how important it is to have computer in every single household. Not only that, he even able to see the importance of software, because without the software, the computer cannot do anything. It can only computing. So having the vision, having the ability to activate the human brain is huge, so that we can actually use everything that our human brain is capable of. So yes, even though the originally there's the myth about we only use 10% of our brain, but if you really think about it, let's say even if we are using 100% of our brain, we don't know where to focus, right? But if we know how to, just like pressure water, if we can have a clear mind, if we don't have to worry about survival, if we don't have to worry about negative emotion, if we are perfectly balanced, just like an empty glass of water, we can focus all of that energy in doing the thing that is meaningful to us the most. And that was the story of successful people like Mr. Roger Bannister. That was the successful story like Bill Gates, who focused entirely on Microsoft. That was the success story of Mark Zuckerberg, who built Facebook from the ground up. That was the successful story of Jeff Bezos, who built Amazon, and so on. There are so many amazing stories that was proven, or it's just like the story of us, right? We are focusing on approaching this knowledge in English so we can spread this knowledge to every corner of the world. And we have a very sharp focus, laser focus on what we are doing. And by doing that, by applying all of these principles, we are able to truly activate the human brain and access all of it. And I can see that one share a link here. There is also a belief among scientists, trusted source, that neurons make up around 10% of the brain cells. This may have contributed to the 10% myth. Yep. There's a lot of great article out there. And you know what? We not focusing too much on proving something to be true, because that's just what the scientists do. Those are actually very slow. What we are focusing on is showing people what work. We will show people the principle um, that can help us to get the result that we want, like the principle of light. And yesterday we went over the activation of the human brain. So those are the principles that can help us utilize our brain to activate the area of our brain that we wasn't even aware of. And it will give us amazing result. So thank you very much for that question, Don. And I highly encourage everyone to ask questions like that, because it will help me have like an opportunity to go deeper into the topic and to share with you more. But great question. That's definitely cleared up a lot of the information that I wanted to share. And you know what? Just keep coming back. We will do this every day, almost every day. There are gonna be like holiday and days that I might not be able to come in or log on or open Zoom. But the more we are doing this, you know, we're gonna circle back to these principle, to this theory. And the more we are sitting here discussing this knowledge, the deeper understanding we will have. And let me reassure you, this knowledge, these informations is very amazing, and it's all interconnected. If you can understand one, you will be able to unlock many other. And that was something that I have also mentioned when we discussed the seven holistic wealth, right? Because if we don't simplify everything that we are facing in life, it will be tough for us to be prepared for it, to prepare for all of the problem that we have to deal with life, or whatever forces that life gonna have impact on us, right? And I'm kept mentioning the sixth barrier, but that's truly what it is, you know. If we don't make the conscious choice to grow from the inside out, you know, to give ourselves life, then the world will forces us from the outside in, and it will treat us like food. And it is important for us to make the conscious choice to start working on the four big category. It is important for us to make sense of the seven holistic wealth, so that we can grow, so that we can protect what we love, so that we can materialize the vision, the dream that we and our loved one have. And that is very much the amazing journey that we are going right now. And I am so thankful that I am not alone. You know, I have a team, a group of people who are supporting me, who is helping me, and that's mean a lot to me. So once again, thank you very much. And again, great question. But yeah, I was gonna do a quick recap on what we was doing, but that question did it. So let's move on. And actually, in fact, before we move on, though, let me uh, let me do a quick recap on yesterday principle, activating the human brain, or the activation of the human brain. Yesterday, I kind of forgot to mention something very interesting about the three brain. So these three brain, even though we are saying that activating the human brain is very important, and I'm saying that kind of like what Dong mentioned earlier, you know, we kind of like only use 10% of our brain, and by activating the human brain, we have more, we access more information, and we will be able to do more. That is something that I kept repeating. But at the same time, I want to tell you the importance of the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain as well. There's power there as well, right? Because when information coming in, it is our instinct that will tell us, you know what, it is safe or is it dangerous? And that is a very, very important mechanism. And I like to call that your intuition. And your intuition, when combined with the human brain or the mammalian brain, it can be something very, very powerful. Because let's say when you first met someone, right, you can use your instinct, you can use your intuition to kind of like read, to see how that person is. Is that like a good friend? Is that like a good business partner? Or if you can feel like some sense of danger from someone or some place, it is extremely important to just, you know what, just get out of there. And like for my group, like the 87, there's there's one of the friend in there. He's actually had very, very good intuition. And only a few months ago, his apartment complex had like the fire alarm sounding, but he was very calm. He can analyze the situation, and he know that it wasn't very dangerous. So he did what he needed to do and just slowly, steadily, and safely walk out of the building. And on a different occasion, different friend that I know of, you know, or you know what, actually for even a bigger event was like 9/11. There were, I think there was a story of this one guy. I don't know, I forgot what his name was, but just right before the airplane hit the twin tower, the just right before the plane hit the twin tower, there are people who just decided to leave the building. They just want to get out of the office for some reason. So there is something very amazing about the survival instinct, the way that they are able to pick up energy. And I think they are able to do that when they activating the human brain, and they can use the instinct of their survival instinct. And also there are many story of love, you know, love give you power, love overcome many hardship. So the mammalian brain is very good at emotion, and namely the emotion of love. We want to avoid like negative one, because when negative emotion comes up, it will kick back to the survival instinct to fear. So we want to focus on the positive emotion, and we often see the um, the emotion of love, the love of the parent to their children. And just recently, I saw a video of like a father, you know, he was just busy fixing his moped, like his motorcycle, and two of his children, there was only a thing. One is like not even 2 years old, the other maybe 3 or 4 years old. They were just walking, and the man he was working on his moped, right? So the two children was like right behind him. They they didn't he didn't even see it. But all of a sudden he turned around, he grabbed the two children, and then he rolled backward, and they was able to dodge like a very big like truck, like go into the direction, and they barely miss it. They barely make it by like a thin slide of hair. So even though he didn't hit it, but I think even though he didn't see it, but I think he heard it. He heard the sound of the truck, and the second that he turned over, he saw it, and he only had half a second to grab the two children to just like do a backflip, and they barely made it. And that is the power of love, and it's also very powerful when it's come to intuition. So there's power there. There's power to the reptilian brain and the mammalian brain and the human brain. And there's been greater things when we are able to combine all three. But it is even more amazing when we know how to activate our human brain, because doing that we will be able to achieve in more. And and yeah, that's that will take us to today's topic. It will be the circle of knowledge. And the entire reason that we mentioned about the principle of light and activation of the human brain, because from these two principles, it will help us acquire more information, acquire more knowledge. And with those information, we will be able to do more, to to materialize more, to get the thing that we truly desire come true, making dream come true. So let's get to it. But yeah, words cannot describe how amazing these knowledge are and how thankful I am. And again, thank you so much for going on this journey with me, because together, you know what? We will be better. Okay, let's write number 3, right? 1, 2, and this should be principle number 3, the circle of knowledge. Okay, if you have a pen and paper, I would like to invite you to write alongside with me. Let's write number 3 down here so we can keep track of these amazing principles. And this will call the circle of knowledge. And recently, I only sent the link for our Zoom to our group because I don't want to spam other group. So if you have friends and family who are interested in these knowledge in English, make sure you invite them to our group. That way we can get the most up-to-date information. And yeah, but once in a while, I'm gonna advertise our Zoom to other group as well. All right, so I would like to draw a uh, a circle in the bottom here. It will be about that big. Okay. This is the representation of your knowledge. This is the information that you know, right? For example, we are in Zoom right now, so you know how to use Zoom, how to join a Zoom call. So that would be in this circle of knowledge. This is something that you know of. And let's say you know how to speak English. So that is something that you know that you are good at. So it's also belong in your circle of knowledge. Or if you can speak Vietnamese like I do, then that would be some of the information that you know as well. All right. Now let's draw another circle just outside of it. Okay. This is the representation of the knowledge that you know, but you forget. All right. So what do I mean by the knowledge that you know but you forget? So if you can help me think back to high school or in college or even preschool, there are information, there's knowledge that we have learned, but because we don't use it, so we tend to forget. For example, I was very good at math. I got like almost perfect score when I took calculus in college. But if you ask me to solve any problem in calculus, I probably can't do it now. So it would be under the knowledge that I know, but I forget. Or better yet, I know that I've forgotten it. So I had to go back to figure it out. Right. And let's draw another one. Just right above it. And this is the representation of the knowledge that you know that you don't know. What do you mean? What do I mean by the knowledge that you know that you don't know? Okay. How about fly an airplane, for example? Anybody here is a pilot, or a co-pilot? I'm not, I know that I don't know how to fly an airplane. What about a surgeon, a doctor? Is anybody here is a doctor? I'm not. I know that I don't know what a doctor can do. So there are many things in life that we know that is out there, but we know that we just don't know those yet. And it is important for us to be aware of it, because you know what, we can, similar to the knowledge that you know but you forget, right? You can relearn it. So for the knowledge that you don't know, you know what? Because you don't know, you can learn it. You are aware that you don't know about it, so you can make the conscious choice to learn it, right? And there's actually another one that we need to be conscious of as well. And this is the knowledge. Let me fix the paper so that you can see better. This is the knowledge that we don't know, that we don't know. Can you give me an example of the knowledge of something that we don't know? We don't know. I can't give you one, because obviously, if we don't know about it, then we can't give an example, right? But there is knowledge that we don't know that we don't know. So how do I know about this? How do I know that there's knowledge that I don't know? I don't know. It actually very simple, you guys. It's not difficult at all. So it's not something that's like amazing, anything like that. Because everything that I have shared with you at the Zoom meeting, right? There is some point in my life that I did not know that these knowledge exists. Okay. But I do now. You see? Similarly, there are vast knowledge out there that we don't know. We don't know. And that is not necessarily to be a bad thing. In fact, the knowledge that we don't know is what make life worth living. This is what make learning worth it. Because when we learn something new, right, that we don't even know that it is there, it is absolutely amazing. That is how we expand our consciousness. And that was the importance of activating the human brain that we did yesterday. Because once we are able to activate our human brain, we will be able to unlock that vision, that gateway that can help us download information. Or we can just simply learn from other, right? Because all the knowledge that I'm sharing here, I learned from somewhere. or someone. And you know what? For me, I love the outermost circle. This is what excites me. And I hope it excites you as well. Right. And there's more to this circle of knowledge, because you know what? When we communicate with others, right? When we talk to others, other people actually have the same circle of knowledge as us. They would have something that they know. They would have something that they know that they forget. They will have something they know that they don't know. And just like me, they are knowledge that they don't know that they don't know. And often when we tell them about something that they don't know that they don't know, at first they might be very confused because they never heard of that before, or they don't really know what you are talking about. But we can if we can figure out a way, an effective way to help them learn of that knowledge, then it will it will be very exciting for them. It will transform them. So let's go ahead and draw another circle of knowledge to represent a person that we are talking to. And we are getting to the important part of the circle of knowledge, everyone. So this one, I'm just gonna write K to stand for no. And then just like the bottom one, it will be we know, but we forget, KF. And then another circle represent for what we know that we don't know. And then the biggest one is what we don't know. We don't know. So as you can see, the largest circle, the outermost circle, where we don't know what we don't know, it is huge. And let me tell you how huge it is, because the knowledge that we know that we forget is vast. Okay. Have you ever curious of why we are afraid up high? I kind of measured this yesterday as well. Do you know how we often hate snake? Do you know how when the baby, when we first born, right, we cry? Or do you know how we know how to turn, how to crawl, how to walk, how to run? How can we speak Vietnamese? How do we know certain things prior to coming into this life? And those are the knowledge that we know, but we forget, right? Jasmine say, not me. Some people may know. We don't. Well, the simple answer is we don't. But the main point is that there are information that engraved deep inside of us that we know, but we forget. But when people mention it, we start to realizing it. So just the knowledge that we know, but we forget, it is huge. And what about the knowledge that we know that we don't know? Okay. For example, let's say, because I am so lucky that I was able to experience the life, both the life in Vietnam and the life right here in the USA. Therefore, I am familiar with different culture, and there are many things that I know that I don't know. There are hundreds of countries out there. And because I live in the US, I get to interact with people who live in the Philippines, for example, people who live in Japan, Korea, people who live in England, Germany, even South Africa, India. there are many different cultures. There are many things that I know that I just simply don't know. And the circle of knowledge just getting bigger and bigger, and it is beyond comprehension. And that is part of the reason people said that the more you know, the more you don't know. And it helps us stay humble, right? Because all of the knowledge that you have, other people probably have that too. So there is a pretty much, to me at least, there's the same level of knowledge between someone who have a PhD, for example, compared to just an average guy, just a farmer, right? Or if we were to compare the knowledge between a farmer and a doctor, some people might see it as a huge difference in social status, but to me, they are pretty much the same when it's come to the circle of knowledge, especially if they were to join our Zoom call, right? All of the principle, all of the knowledge that we are willingly share for absolutely free. These are amazing because I have talked to people, I have learned a lot from many successful people, and I can guarantee you that even them did not know about these principles, about the knowledge that we are sharing right here and right now. Therefore, there's something amazing about it. So how do we share with people the knowledge? How can we expand our knowledge? One way is to activate the human brain, like we mentioned yesterday. And let me use the story of myself, of my experience in calculus, to demonstrating this, right? So in 2006, when I first took calculus, it was like what, 18 years ago. I was very, very good at it. I got A plus, almost perfect score, right? And it was something that I was very good at. So back then, it was something that I know of. But now I don't remember anything. In fact, in 2009, only 3 years after I took that course, I didn't remember anything. And my roommate, he was one of my best friend. He asked me for help because he needed to complete calculus in order to graduate, and he was struggling. He didn't know what to do, so he come to me because he know that I was very good at math, and I told him, okay, I will help you because he was my best friend, right? But to tell you the truth, I was a little bit nervous back then because I couldn't remember anything. I was like, what is calculus? What is all of this X and Y axis? But after I spent a few hours online and studied calculus for about 2 to 3 days, I was able to relearn all of it. I was able to take an exam, like take a test to see where I was at my calculus level. And I was able to pass that test at a very, very high score. So there's something amazing about accessing the information that you have forgotten, right? That is the green circle here is a representation of a piece of knowledge that you has forgotten, and we can bring it back to the knowledge that we know, right? Are you with me so far? So similarly, like what I mentioned earlier, there are knowledge that we know that we don't know, but it's not necessary to be a bad thing because if you are interested in it, you can learn it, right? So all of the knowledge that I am sharing right here, I can learn it. There are things that I know that I don't know, but I can seek for information. I can seek for knowledge. And using the right technique, or if I do enough research, I can bring those knowledge to my no circle of knowledge. And there's a very famous philosopher called Plato. He is a Greek philosopher. And he said something very interesting. He said that everything that we know, or everything that we have not known, like all of it, the entire knowledge of the world, we have known it already. We have learned it already. So when we come up with something new, it is only our perspective, because we have already known it in the past. We only relearn it, right? It sounds crazy, but that's what he said, and he is famous for saying that. So there are information that it might appear to you that you don't know, but it actually go from the circle of knowledge, from you know that you don't know, go back to the circle of you know but you forget, and then you will become conscious of that knowledge, and they become you know and you know. And similarly, the way that we learn, we can either learn it through experience, like what I mentioned, or we can learn from others. And that's what my friend did, right? He seek knowledge from me. He didn't know anything about algebra. He was struggling with algebra. So let's write here this, let's call this circle of knowledge Ben. This is a representation of my knowledge, Ben. And up here is the representation of my friend's knowledge, John. And it's actually spelled Jon. We call him John. So he didn't know anything about algebra, not algebra, calculus. He didn't know anything about calculus. Then he come to me for help. And me, I didn't remember anything, so I actually had to download the knowledge from some play in my brain, right? And some information on Google, so that I can remember that knowledge. And then I would try to communicate this knowledge to John. And I struggled at first, okay? I did my very best to simplify all of this formula, all of this equation, and John still didn't get it. And I struggled for some time. And could you help me figure out, like, why didn't John understand this math information? It's only take me 2 to 3 days to relearn it. But why was it so difficult to show him? There's a secret to it, right? So it's turned out that when we share what we know to other people, this might seem very simple to us because we have already know of that information, but other people, they don't know it. So what I know up right here is fall under the circle of knowledge of John right here, because he know that he don't know. He know that he don't know anything about calculus, about math. So I have to use what I know of, and I communicate with what he did not know. And we was getting nowhere. Unfortunately, this does not work. Okay, you don't want to go here. And later I learned that I cannot do that. I can't just tell him things that he doesn't understand, we're not getting anywhere. And later I learned from the circle of knowledge is that the secret, okay? And this is one of the four important principle. And I wrote number 3 here because this is the principle number 3, super important. Turn out that we can only tell people what they know, then they understand. Because similar to myself, right? When John come to me and asked about calculus, I had no idea what that was. I didn't, like, I know, but I wasn't good at it. I have to go from the knowledge that I have forgotten to relearn calculus to make it to what I know. And then I have a great understanding of calculus. So similarly, in order to communicate effectively, we have to start from what we know. And because what we know is not necessarily what the person next to us know, the person that we are talking know. Therefore, we have to start from what they know, right? Right here. We have to start from what they know. And for John case, I started with algebra, which is a lower level of math. And I give him a lot of practice. I give him a lot of exercise, and sometimes I take him to the part where he don't know. And at first it doesn't work, so I have to go back to what he know. And after many repetition of going back and forth between the knowledge that he know to the knowledge that he doesn't know, after a while something amazing start to happen. Okay, he start to get it. He start to be able to understand calculus. So he was able to download this information. So it is a long process, but it will work. This is how we do it. So instead of just sharing what we know to people, we have to communicate with what they know, and we expand from there. And that is how you become a greater communicator. That is how you will be able to learn this knowledge. This is how you will be able to help other. Okay, and let's draw with another piece of paper so we can make this a little bit clearer. And I know it is a lot, but don't worry, you will get it. You will understand it. So let's use another piece of paper. And similarly, this time we will draw a circle right at the center of the page. And because this is the knowledge that we had known, I would like to call it the know. And just right outside of this circle, draw another one. And because these are the knowledge that we know but we forgotten, so let's call it the forgotten. another one. And because this is the knowledge that we know that we don't know, let's call it the unknown. And last but not least, the outer mode. And because this is the knowledge that we know that that we don't know, that we don't even aware of. Let's call this our unconsciousness. And I guess another word that we can call the know is our consciousness. Okay. So consciousness is our awareness, all of the information that we know, What we want to do is we want to expand this knowledge. Okay. How do we do it? Okay, so started out, the know may be very small, but we can expand it, we can grow it. Like I mentioned earlier about algebra, I have learned it, but I forgot it. But then I can relearn it. I can bring the knowledge that I have forgotten back to where I know. I expand my knowledge. Okay. Similarly, there are knowledge that I know that I don't know. I can learn it because I am aware of it. I can learn it. And for the information that I don't know, when I start doing it, when I start approaching it, I will also get to learn it. So the way that we will learn is actually very, very simple. And this exact same way that we can communicate with other, that we can help other people learn, right? So the way it works is that we start from our consciousness, from what we know. We start from where we know, from what we know. And then we move outward to what we have forgotten, and then we come back. And during that process, we take with us something. We take some information with us, and we turn the forgotten to the known. All right. And if we feel like we need to do it again, we can do it again. And then we learn more. And or if we are more adventurous, we can go to the unknown. And then we come back. All right. For example, I mentioned earlier, I don't know how to fly an airplane, but I can learn. There are schools for it, right? I can sign up for a school to learn how to fly. Or let's say if I want to be a doctor, I can take tests and I can go to school to learn it. So we can actually start from what we know to our unknown, or like my friend John, right? He can learn from me. Calculus was that was unknown to him, but he was able to learn it. And even more beautiful is that we can even go to the unconsciousness, go to the part where we know that we don't know. We don't know, we don't know. And we can expand our knowledge so that what we have forgotten, we can make it known. We can learn it. What we know that we don't know, we can learn it. Even the thing that we don't know that we don't know, we can learn it. And this is the importance of having an open mind, right? Because if you keep thinking that you have known it already, that there's nothing new, then you will not be able to learn anything new. But when we are open to learning, when we are open to new things, we are open to the things that we don't know, we don't know. We are open to our consciousness. And when that happens, we'll be able to download a lot of amazing information, right? And this is one of the reasons people value experience. When you apply for a job, people usually ask for your resume, your CV, right? To see how much experience do you have. But there's more beautiful thing than this. This is not it. The circle of knowledge, it doesn't stop here, right? Let me write it on here too, so that we can recognize that this is the circle of knowledge still. The circle of knowledge. The beautiful thing is you don't have to do it yourself. You can learn it from other. Just like what my friend John did, right? He came to me and he asked me for help. He can learn from me. So similarly, we can learn from others. Instead of doing everything yourself, you can start from what you know, and other people can help you remember. They can help you turn your forgotten to your know. They can even help you learn something new. Like my example earlier, I can go to school to learn to fly, right? I can go to school to learn to becoming a doctor. And if I have an open mind, if I have the willingness to listen to others, I will learn from their experience as well, right? Or better yet, I can talk to even more people, right? The more people that I talk to, the more that I learn. And if you talk to enough people, I can guarantee you that you will be able to expand your knowledge to great length. And this is the principle called the circle of knowledge. And using this principle, we will be able to gain knowledge, gain information about the seven holistic wealth, right? And the seven holistic wealth will give us the holistic life. If we can have the open mind to learn from yourself and to learn from others. And that concludes our Zoom section today. If you have any question, if you want to share anything, we can make an exception and you can raise your hand to share. If not, you can do something like Dong earlier today, right? Save your question for tomorrow morning, and we can explore it from there. Because during the first few minutes of the Zoom call, I will go over the information that we have learned as well. So I see Jasmine raise her hand here. So uh, go ahead, Jasmine. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi, Ben. Hello, everybody. Thanks again for reminding me and this wonderful knowledge. Just because I love this circle of knowledge a lot, and for the for the day that I'm not interact in the group, just because I'm working, so I can um, talk much or share my realization. But the circle of knowledge had helped me in my life and my relationship, not just to myself, but to other people. What it had done for me personally is I often thought that thing that I know, everybody know. And I love to share, like I constantly sharing what I learn. If I learn something new right now, I'm going to share with everybody that I know without realize that thing that I know may not be in their knowing zone. So that had make kind of like this connection, make me disconnect with maybe my friend or my customer, just because like we thought that what we like people would like as well, but it's not true. So and then sometime what we know they already know, so it's create a boredom for a listener. And we just like my mom, when my mom tell me something and she keep telling me the same thing like 10 or like 20 times, I was like, Mom, you had already told me this. So I got bored. But my mom doesn't remember, so she will keep asking me, like, oh, do you know this? So I got bored if my mom telling me the same thing over and over again. And then I realized that if I keep telling people the same thing over and over again, if they don't know and they don't want to know, they will not want to talk to me. So that's just an example that I realized through the circle of knowledge. Therefore, I can, like talk to people and entertain them at the same time using the knowledge that I know, and question, um, by asking them question, what subject would they like to talk, is also helping me to listen to their point of view and helping me to increase my circle of knowledge as well. And it's, being in the customer service for more than 13 years, when I learned about the circle of knowledge, it's helping me to become a better version of myself. And it's also helped my client to enjoy the conversation with me more, and also strengthening my relationship with everybody around me, not just my client and me. So once again, thank you for everybody to being here today, and thank you, Ben, for keep repeating this circle of knowledge, because this this is simple, and this will improve everybody relationship. Doesn't matter who you are and how old you are. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
thanks
done.
for your sharing, Jasmine. That is amazing. We appreciate your sharing a lot. And just like you mentioned just now, it is important to ask questions because that is how we learn. That's how we are able to access the knowledge. Just like what my friend John did, because he has the willingness to ask me for help with algebra. He actually activating the part of knowledge that I have long forgotten. And because of my willingness in helping him learning algebra, calculus, actually, I actually understand it better. So that will be tomorrow topic as well. There's a final principle that will help us expand our knowledge, expand our circle of knowledge. And we will talk about the importance of asking questions, namely asking it sincerely and being humble when we ask questions, because that is a secret to for us to expand our knowledge. And thank you so much everyone for joining us. Just like what one said, when we talk to people, when we interact with people, when we start asking questions, we all gain knowledge, and we cannot do this effectively without you. So thank you so much. And we running a little bit late, so let's go out with some music, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you.